program.
I don't know where Kathy is, but can you talk a little bit more about what you mentioned around the ideas of San Francisco coming up with a municipal plan to deal with this?
Sure. Originally, the voters of San Francisco approved Proposition S, which was basically stated that the city should grow for low-income patients. Everybody voted for it.
Do you know what year that was?
Geez, it was 2002.
It's okay.
And it was just a policy piece. Like, it was so sad because all these low-income patients were like, yeah, and now we're going to get our own garden. And I'm like, no, that's what's called a policy piece. We're decades away from that. And the city came up with a myriad of excuses of why they couldn't do any land for this. There was a myriad of excuses why Prop S couldn't be implemented. And most of the people interested in participating in the program walked away from the table and started their own program, like myself, like the Aldriches. You know, because, okay, the city's not going to help us take care of low-income patients, and a lot of times when you get sick, you get poor. The two kind of go hand in hand, unless you're real rich. And what I'm looking at, and what I think needs to happen anyway, is a way to incorporate Healthy San Francisco, Prop S. We already have these components there, right? We already have the voter-approved Prop S. We already have Healthy San Francisco, where you can put a copay to your morphine, to your fentanyl patches, to your Dilaudid, since we're already prescribing people really heavy, really lethal narcotics.
But then just all of a sudden turn a warrant on the new landowner?
Well, they're going through really systematically. Their first cry of Melinda Haag is everybody within 1,000 feet. But the scary thing is how she's defining it. It's not as we define it, right? So 1,000 feet from, you know, an elementary school, etc. Well, they're defining it as anywhere children congregate. So, you know, that's really bad. You know, and what happened to HopeNet was that a preschool moved, they had already, so they came to the nuisance, right, is what it's called in land use. They had already been established for years. A Mandarin preschool immersion school located near them.
Where are they again?
They're right on 10th and Howard.
10th and Howard? Okay.
Yeah, at the church.
Yeah.
In the church.
Right. So because, you know, in any other land situation, that would be the nuisance coming to you, right? Because you've already been established in the neighborhood. So, you know, I mean, God forbid the feds decide to open up preschools everywhere. They're like, oh, sorry, gotta shut you down. We moved a preschool next to you. I mean...
But can I ask a question about what is the thinking? You know, I don't really get it with nightlife either, because we have the same thing, like no preschools, no schools. And I'm just trying to figure out what the
family food.
It comes from a 1980s drug law where there were actually people sending younger children to do drug running of crack cocaine near schools. And so this whole movement started, right? And there was an original problem. You know, yeah, there's who are, you know, using...
That's still a problem.
The government's dope.
Right, that's still a problem.
You still have the guy, you know, who's running the young kid and, you know, saying, hey, you take this from point A to point B and bring that back to me. That guy still is out there. I agree.
Yeah.
And the law didn't help that guy not be out there. I think the guy in the CIA that's giving the crack cocaine to people is the real problem. And he probably came around the 80s when these laws were being implicated. I don't know, I mean, it's very conspiracy.
So they can protect their source.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What about children trying to sell us dope? Okay.
You know,
but the interesting thing is, the thing to be very clear on, is in San Francisco, we have not had one report of child endangerment around a medical cannabis facility. Not one. We, at our Hills, we're at 26 different facilities.
They're suppressing the statistics, though.
Well, we proved, you know, at the Police Commission and at the Planning Commission that the statistics were valid. The health department's behind us. They have had zero complaints regarding children. The emphasis of, hey, look, you know, right next to Divinity Tree, which was an awesome facility in the Tenderloin, which is where most of the services have been pulled out of, and now they've moved to south of Market. So they're pulling out a lot of the people that were actually helpful. And they've actually left a lot of the entrepreneurs on the map, interestingly enough. And the Tenderloin has the highest rate of people living with HIV, living with disabilities, not like in the state, in the nation.
In the world.
So right next to Divinity Tree are all the adult theaters and a whole bunch of liquor stores. And I mean, that playground that they used to close it down, you could stand in the playground and you can look at, you know, like literally from the playground, you can stand there, you know, you don't even, I'm short, you know, I'm kid size, you know, and I can see the pictures of prostitutes for children. The real issue here is that cannabis reached a, you know, a level of really kind of expanding its boundaries to like almost beyond commercial to industrial. And what really tipped off Melinda Haag was Oakland's plan for like 4 stadiums full of cannabis that would have taken more electricity than to run the entire city of San Francisco. That's kind of what brought it all to the hilt.
I'm curious if there's been a study done on the importance and like role of medical cannabis
We're
in the
the
city.
3rd largest business community contributing to the general fund. $44 million.
So yes, there's a study.
So there has been a study done?
Yes,
Do you know
by David Downs.
Okay.
Can David and, can you spell his last name?
D-O-W-N-S.
D-O-W-N?
D, like Downs, like D-O-W-N-S, Downs. And I'll try to find it online too, and I can send it to Kim or Anaconda, but it's really interesting because...
Is it an official city document? Or
It's not.
It's, so that was done by...
It was done by an independent source, I believe, but to be... And in Oakland, I think they were just under the car dealerships. We're usually right under the car dealerships as to how much money and taxes are put into the general fund and et cetera. So there, I mean, there's a vitality here when you have 26 businesses at one point that were multi-million-dollar businesses, no doubt. The need is there. You know, I think there's a lot of moralistic point of view that says, oh, you know, you shouldn't exchange funds for cannabis. Well, you shouldn't exchange funds for cannabis if you're catastrophically ill and you can't afford it. But if you can afford a little, please, please, put your money in, because there's trimmers, there's cultivators, there's bud tenders. There's a whole line of people that need to get paid just like in any other agricultural system. And when we start to look at this as an agricultural food / medicine and stop looking at it in a moralistic sort of tainted view of like, you know, oh my God, what about the children, the reefer madness, the inherent racism in the reefer madness. It was a way to incarcerate people of color and people that were working class. It is the medicine of the people. People have been using medical cannabis for eons. I mean, it goes 5,000 years back into, you know, the Chinese literature, written culture was the first culture that we have, you know, documented on it. And I just think that to take out a vital part of a city's business atmosphere, to attack people on a moralistic, you know, framework, and then to make it worse, to not serve the very people that the law is set up to serve. So I guess what I'm really looking for from the Milk Club is helping me distribute these flyers, getting on the meeting at the end of the month, because so much could change in like the very next, you know, week and a half. And then if there's anybody in the Milk Club that would be willing to assist me in communicating with Nancy Pelosi.
We're a medical cannabis dispensary here in San Francisco, and I'm sure Shona has made some of you people aware of what's going on, the attacks that we're having in San Francisco, and that's terrible. Why Stuart and I are here. The cannabis movement was born in a response to the needs of the seriously ill here in San Francisco. Now the U.S. federal government is seeking to roll back 15 years of progress in California. It's important that you ask yourselves today, is it important to defend clean, safe, effective medicine and your ability to consume it in a respectful, supportive community environment?